This is Bruce Friedman of Adult Site Broker, and welcome to Adult Site Broker Talk, where each week we interview one of the movers and shakers of the adult industry, and we give you a tip on buying and selling websites. This week we'll be speaking with Alex Leconte of Seven Veils. Adult Site Broker is proud to announce the launch of our new website at adultsitebroker.com. We've added some enhancements to the site, such as FAQs and a complete new platform. The look and feel of the new site are nice and up to date. The new site also has links to our marketplace and affiliate program. Plus, don't forget ASB Marketplace, the first platform where you can buy and sell adult sites and domains for free. ASB Marketplace allows buyers and sellers the chance to come together on properties that are valued below our company's minimum of $50,000. Don't pay for other marketplaces when ASB Marketplace gives you this service for free. Visit asbmarketplace.com and sign up as a seller or a buyer today. And of course, there's ASB Cash, the first affiliate program for an adult website brokerage where you can earn as much as 20% of our broker commission referring sellers and buyers to us at Adult Site Broker. Check out asbcash.com for more details and to sign up. Now let's feature our property of the week that's for sale at Adult Site Broker. Actually, our property of the week this week is a reminder that we always have some private listings available in addition to what you see on our website and in our newsletters. Right now, we have a campsite, dating sites, and pay sites available. We often have other types of sites as well. In these cases, the owner of the site is usually expressing the utmost care to make sure that the identity of their site or company doesn't get out for a variety of reasons. These are also generally larger listings with big revenues. If you're interested in finding out more about our private listings, please complete our buyer's NDA on our website and contact us to see if you qualify. Now time for this week's interview. My guest today on Adult Site Broker Talk is Alex Leconte, director of one of the industry's preeminent social media companies, Seven Veils. Alex, thanks for being back with us today on Adult Site Broker Talk.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
You're so quiet. Alex, he previously worked in the traffic world prior to joining Seven Veils. Now, what makes Seven Veils unique is they recognize how the needs of adult entertainment social marketing differs from mainstream, and they create successful marketing strategies that work with adult entertainment to create deliverable results and long-term success on social networks. Both the company and Alex have won multiple awards. Lauren McEwen founded the company in 2010 with just herself as a one-woman company, and a couple of years later named Alex as director. The company has grown to a large group of social media experts. Through statistical analysis of your social marketing campaign, they create a social media strategy that bursts through the ceiling of diminishing returns. It's responsive to your growth patterns and predictive of overall social media trends. They ensure that their engagement marketing and analytics work cohesively to create an unbeatable social media presence. So how'd you like your commercial?
I love it. I should broadcast it at the shows.
I'll let you.
Thank you.
So Alex, how is our friend Lauren doing, and what is she doing?
Oh, she's doing great. So you know Lauren very well. She's fascinating. So yeah, we went through the pandemic. Everybody had a hard time, but she really took advantage of that to read a lot of books and cultivate and self growth. I'm such a fan of her. She's doing well. Thank you. Missing the shows.
Yeah, we're missing her. She always lit up those shows.
Oh yeah, she is. She's amazing.
She is that indeed. So what's the state of social media marketing today for adult businesses?
The technical word is fucked up. It's all fucked up. But it's still very profitable and it's actually really powerful. I was very happy to see that because we've been saying this for years and now the proofs are coming. I was reading a report from X-Hamster's data analyze and insights, and they were saying that, for example, for content creators like OnlyFans and stuff, for the models, the top one source of traffic is by 41% social media.
Mm,
So it is clearly it's chaotic. It's really the pandemic
hmm.
really hurt in a certain way social media platforms. It's more crowded than ever. The
Yes.
messages are really chaotic. There is a lot of information, a lot of noise and parasite
Mm,
robots and stuff. But the power is there. It's clearly the place to be. So it is
hmm.
still very profitable.
How has the pandemic changed social media marketing?
We've identified two main aspects that we are presenting as a big change as a consequence from the pandemic. So first of all, it's, as I was saying, very crowded. So now a lot of people are using social media even more than before. They are really using it massively, or they want to entertain themselves or to educate themselves, which is really questionable to use social media to get education. But they are, yeah, so they are tweeting a lot, posting a lot, sharing a lot, and commenting a lot,
Hmm.
giving a lot of opinions, sometimes even unnecessary. So this all create this all create a huge amount of data to analyze and to process, but even
Hmm.
a kind of visual pollution. So a lot of messages. It's really harder for companies to make their message go through.
Hmm.
And the other thing that we've identified is that the meaning is different. We've always suggested to our client to avoid controversial like religion and political and stuff. But because of the pandemic, we saw that it is also important to make a statement and to take a position on social media, not
Hmm.
necessarily to be controversial, but at least to make things clear.
Yeah, to be human.
Yeah, be social, be human.
There's a lot of people who are a little less than that on social media, and that gets to my next question. Now, I know you work primarily with Twitter. How hard
Yes,
is it for a message to break through with all the garbage and all the fighting that's going on over there?
it's very hard. We work with all the platforms. We do. I love Twitter in a way that it's one of the most adult friendly. So of course, for our business, it's the ROI is really significant on Twitter, and it's also
Hmm.
the balance between the time investment for the client, because it's very slow to get a social marketing campaign applied. So of course on Twitter they can see a little bit more thanks to the data and the reports that we can pull out. So that's why I really like to work with Twitter as a main source, as a primary source. So yeah, it has become very confusing for the companies to get their message delivered. And I always have this image of the movie, Sister Act, where the girl is saying she's making an analogy between a bar and the concert they're giving, and she said it's like you're in a bar and everybody's talking, everybody's asking for the check, making noise and stuff, and you're at the opposite and you need to get somebody hearing you. So that's
Hmm.
exactly the way you need to get your voice louder. But of course, we are talking about platforms where you will post video, pictures, and text. So how can you make your voice louder? First of all, you need to clean the way. So for this, you need to make sure that your message will be delivered. And for
Yeah.
this, it's the old techniques of SEO. We don't work
Hmm.
with search engine optimization for Google, but we do apply the techniques based on the algorithms analysis that we run for Twitter and all the other social media platforms. So first of all, you clean the way, making sure that you create a sort of a map of the situation, and so you
Hmm.
can get your message delivered in a proper way. But then, of course, this is the pure information. Then you have to work on the packaging so your message is opened. So it reaches the target, and then you need to gain trust. So you have to put your message, to codify your message in a certain way that it will make through this crowd and reach your target, but then that it will be appealing enough so this person is opening your message and receiving your message.
Interesting. And with Twitter being that crowded, are there any other challenges?
Yes, it's always very hard to, well, all in all, social media is very hard because they are privately owned. So it is hard to rely a sustainable strategy because you never know what's going to happen if they decide to get rid of adult, which
Mm,
there is nothing pointing to this direction right now for Twitter, which is great.
Hmm.
They've been really friendly
Thank
with adult
God.
businesses. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. So this is a big challenge for social media because it's privately owned. So you need to always be, aware of the rules and the terms of condition. So if they have clear statements about what they consider appropriate or not, it's okay. But in some cases, like Instagram, it's very, very hard to define if the content, if the piece of content will be offensive for some people, conservative probably, at Instagram. And so yeah, that's the big challenge.
I think some things will offend anybody.
Yeah, that's a big issue, and that's something that I've recently written something about, how dealing with our industry, it changes us, it affects us. My big
Yeah.
passion in life is psychology,
Right.
especially neuro and behavioral, and for, of course, working in this industry, for example, I've been in this industry for 12 years, and it changes, it
Jeez.
impacts oneself, very, very hard. And so sometimes it's true that our limits are a little bit changed. Some things
Oh,
that
definitely.
we are talking sometimes, and we don't see that we are saying things that people might consider inappropriate. And for us, it's normal. We were just talking, about double penetration or bukkake. It's
Bukake, bukake, bukake.
right. It's just, yeah, a fetish.
You said you've been in the industry 12 years. I've known you every one of those years. How do you feel the industry has changed you?
Oh, that's an awful question. Thanks for asking. My therapist would be so happy. It
I
did
love it.
change me a lot. At the beginning, I didn't want to come to join this industry, because
Hmm.
I thought I was open mind, but so it's a long talk that I had with my ex-wife about,
Mm-hmm.
if back then I was still married, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a big jump, getting to work with porn, even if back then I started with traffic, so I wasn't dealing with content
Oh,
creation or
is that
shooting
why she's
studio.
in? By the way, is that why she's an ex-wife?
No. So yeah, it was a big decision, to take a job in the industry, and I thought I was open minded, but I discovered that I was judging, especially on the fetish side. I had some meeting,
Hmm.
and it was hilarious. I was lucky enough to have this amazing coworker back then when I started, Anne,
Mm-hmm.
the French Anne.
Mm-hmm.
That she's running so many shows. She's really an amazing person too.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Lauren, they are the kind of people that I really admire for this energy they have and this
Yes.
patience and this humanity. And so she was next to me at the office, and it was hilarious because she was showing me content, but she wasn't making fun of it. She was more trying to educate me on, you see, so this is
Mm-hmm.
like foot fetish or whatever. And I was like, yeah, okay. And so indirectly, she and the industry taught me how to accept all this diversity, and not to judge anyone and make everyone comfortable. I had some meetings with clients back then that were hilarious because I felt like I was dying inside when the person was explaining the artistic project they had. But some projects were really creative and really different from the usual common fetishes. So
Yep.
it was an experience really significant and meaningful. So this changed me a lot. It really, broke my barriers, and I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, I think all of us, when we come from mainstream, we start out with our eyes bugging out, and now we just shrug our shoulders.
Yeah, you know how I feel about that when I hear, and it happens because we see that at the shows there are more and more mainstream people.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, it's not about, I don't want to offend anyone. It's not about being offensive. It's just that for me, the way I see it and the way I receive it, it's like having kids around. And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. It's just that,
No.
how, and I'm gonna take the typical example of straight men. They are always such an interesting case for me. About, seeing somebody, like, if you see a woman without a bra, and it's, oh, tits, tits, tits. Yeah, 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 baby, that's tits. Yeah, that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
body, human body is beautiful. So it's
Hmm. Yes.
interesting, this energy and this excitement that they have for something that is kind of okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
Well,
So she took her blouse off, or she raised her blouse up to show her tits for a photographer. It's just like you get so used to it, you don't even blink.
yes, and you appreciate it in a different way. Like, for example, for me, I appreciate the way, all the models are empowered by their body and transcendent in some way. I mean, maybe it's
Yeah.
too philosophical, but certainly at some level, they are very empowered, and I admire that
Yeah.
so much. And some
Sure.
conversation or even about my past and everything, when some people are talking, I'm talking to people out of the industry, and they're, oh wow, they're very judgmental, they are, and even hypocritical most of the time, which is unfortunate.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, hypocrisy is unfortunate, and it's everywhere. So, with so many platforms doing bans, and you kind of alluded to this, where can you actually market an adult company where there won't be any issues?
Everywhere. That's an awesome question. Thanks for
Hmm,
asking, because we've had
sure.
this talk with Lauren 2 days ago. We were preparing a piece of content for our Seven Veil social media channels, and you can actually work with each platform.
Hmm.
It's all about the branding and all about the positioning of your brand. You just need to adapt. Of course, the goal
Hmm.
behind is going to be different. If you want to generate, for example, if you want to generate traffic out of an Instagram campaign, when I'm saying campaign, I'm talking about Seven Veils campaign. So it's different from
Right.
what great companies like Dan, German Dan. I never, I feel terrible. I can't pronounce his last name, but he is a legit authority in social media marketing. He is going to a lot
Yeah.
of shows, and he is doing a lot of cloaking and very interesting work, based on
Hmm.
redirection and stuff. He's brilliant, and Jason Hunt with all
Yep.
the Facebook campaigns, the
He was. Yeah.
SEM.
He was on. He's been on my show twice. Yeah.
Yeah, no surprise. He's very interesting. I love to listen to what he has to say.
Hmm.
And so it's very interesting because they have these two companies are doing social media, but on a different aspect on what we are doing. So when I'm saying Seven Bells campaigns, it's all about organic and
Hmm.
community management, and really based on human interactions. So it is possible to work with a lot of platforms. But for example, on Instagram, you cannot announce porn, so
Hmm.
it would be more recommended to work on the lifestyle stuff. Or if you have fetish, for example, super easy
Hmm.
example. I For a foot fetish client of mine, not of Seven Veils, I've just posted some. So I'm a fighter, martial arts since I'm a kid, and
Hmm.
it's funny because we did a photo shoot session at in my private life when we were at the dojo, and then I just posted the pictures for one of the clients because he has a foot fetish and I'm barefoot fighting. So
Sure.
you can use something from a different element that when you look at it on social media, it doesn't look sexual. It doesn't
Hmm.
look like a fetish. It doesn't look like something provocative or something made to excite someone.
Sure.
But because of the element itself, you can just kind of twist it and use the platform to your advantage. I don't know if I make myself clear, but it's all about
Hmm.
recoding your content and be creative around it. To just find a way to make it compliant with the platform you're using, but still
Right.
promoting your business in a very discreet way.
But I hear people say, "Well, I did this, and this, and I got banned, and I don't understand." There's a lot
Yes.
of that going on, isn't there?
Oh yeah, all the time. And most of the time, I'm sorry to say that, but most of the time is because people are not rigorous. I'm not saying that if they do everything in the state of the art, they will be safe, because again, these platforms are privately owned, so
Yeah.
you cannot. We have to play by their rules, and even though they can
Right.
even break the rules, the platform itself, and it's totally unfair, especially
Yes.
Instagram. It's really
Yes.
annoying sometimes.
Hmm.
But most of the time, what we have identified, most of the models, we tell them that they cannot post any nudity on Instagram, and they still put their butt. And I'm sorry to let everyone know that even if you are naked butt is on Instagram, well, it's still considered as nudity. So see, it's a problem. Then you also
It's
have
still a
the
butt.
behavior,
Yes.
right? But again, that's the limit about our industry, because for us, if we see someone butt naked, it's going to be okay. Yeah. And we don't, sometimes we don't see the problem with it. And of course we are dealing with platforms that are very conservative, so if we do that,
Right.
they are shocked because, oh my god, a butt, nobody has a butt, never saw an ass in his life, it's really unfair, and it makes you feel bad.
Yes.
Sometimes you just post a beautiful picture, you're a beautiful woman, and you're in a bikini and using a thong, and very glamorous, like vixen style, very beautiful.
Yep.
And then Instagram makes you feel bad about yourself because you're using something too sexy for them. So yeah, it's a problem. But then also the
Hmm.
behavior is such an issue.
Right. Right. Yeah, I got banned from Facebook for a month for wishing a friend happy birthday.
That's very hard to understand why 2 weeks ago they sent me a notification that I was violating the rule for bullying because I just a comment that I made was EW, and they found
Yeah.
it offensive. I'm like, okay,
Hmm. Hmm. Mr. and Mrs. AI didn't like it.
yeah, probably.
I mean, and isn't all this stuff pretty much being run by machines now?
Yes, the first level of check is by the algorithm. So it's all about,
Right.
it's a very powerful tool that they've developed. Of course, they have a lot of resources, human brains, and finances. So they've developed their algorithm is just, when you're posting a picture, they're analyzing if there is any nudity, offense, blood, this kind of harmful behaviors based on their guidelines.
Hmm.
Um, and then if it requires a manual check, it goes to a tier 2 where they evaluate if the post is bad or harmful or disrespectful.
But you have to challenge it.
Yes, and it's again, not to get too philosophical about that. It's
Hmm.
complicated because appropriate or not, it's a very subjective notion that depends on people. So if somebody, and even of the mood, it's just like a judge. You're coming at work, you're tired. If somebody is just pissing you off, maybe your patience will be reduced. So when you're analyzing posts and you discover, oh, this girl is too sexy, oh yeah, bam. And sometimes you're
Yeah.
just in a good mood, and oh yeah, she's sexy, but it's fine, she's cute, and you just let it go. So it's
Uh,
unfair, it's
yeah,
complicated.
it's very unfair, and anytime you can it can depend on people's moods
Yes.
and it influences people's businesses. That's just not right.
But see, Bruce, that's exactly the point. That's why it's such a problem, because we are talking about something social and human,
Hmm.
but we are using it for business, and that's the
Yeah.
one of the biggest challenge that I've seen over the years at Seven Veils, that we need to work with a mix of it, because we want to do business, but we need to keep it social. So that's
Right.
a very, very hard thing to work with, but it's also why it's so interesting.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, I'm sure it's very interesting on a daily basis. So I notice a lot more influencer marketing now. Just how
Mhm.
valuable is that?
It is very valuable. It's also very annoying to deal with. I think I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I would love to hear from somebody, but to be honest about that, if they really enjoy working with influencer marketing, it's really stressful because it's something that is not solid. It's really a risky investment. But of course, I do recommend for people, for companies, individuals, etc., if they can use an influencer deal to promote their company or service or brand. Of course, it's a great asset if you can have someone very influential with a decent amount of followers, but also qualified followers, that are matching your
Hmm.
strategy. It is very powerful, of course, to associate your brand to some. It's very risky because
Hmm.
that's the first thing you learn at public relations and marketing school, where you associate your brand with a human being. This person can commit mistakes. So if this person is just being at some point in a scandal, then it can hurt your brand if
Hmm.
you're getting too close to it. But if they're doing everything great, and even being lucky or great people or whatever, then your deal is very worthy, of course.
Hmm. I wonder if Ron Jeremy was anybody's influencer.
Yeah, probably we all have our circles of influences.
Yeah.
It's yeah, there is always a potential, there is always a segment, there is always some way to use more influencer marketing. It's just that it's very stressful because it's hard to quantify, to analyze. the KPI are really unclear and very hard to predict. So it's I love for me the best case was the Fire Festival. It's an amazing
Hmm.
story, using influencer marketing. And we
Right.
have some old influencers. The first influencer for me was Paris Hilton. The way she
Mm.
used her image and the way she didn't make anything. She was just using her background and name and behavior, etc., to create her brand. So that's
Hmm.
typically an influencer case.
I walked past Baron Hilton in a hallway once at a Hilton hotel, just to let you know.
Nice.
So yeah, see, I'm
I love
somebody.
her. She's she makes me laugh a lot. She's very
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, she's quite good at what she does. What does she do? I
Oh yeah,
haven't
she
figured
must
it
be very
out.
interesting. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
how
She
do
must
you
be very interesting.
pick the right influencer then? Let's say you've got a client who wants a high level influencer. What steps do you go through to make sure you've picked the right person?
Oh, I don't want to promote anyone, but just it's easier if we put names on it. I'm not a big fan of doing this because it's free promotion, so I don't like to promote anyone for free. But a part of friendship, a part of partnerships, I would like to take two examples. If, for example, you want your market, companies need to be more organized. This is a fact that
Hmm.
people come to us to do social media, but they didn't take care of the base.
Right.
And social media marketing, there is the word marketing in it, so it relies on data and market studies, and it's very old
Hmm.
fashioned in this way.
Right.
So you need to identify what is your market, what are your segments, who is your core target, who is your competition, etc. Your pricing, your branding, the mapping of your values, etc. It's very basic, and this people can find it in online for free in books, etc. Philip
Yeah.
Kotler, God of Marketing, a lot of books about that. So first
Okay.
of all, if for example, let's say your product is lingerie, and your core target are women between women with a power of acquisition. So let's say a high power of acquisition. Let's say
Hmm.
a top brand, high quality, etc. Lingerie for the European market
Hmm.
that you want to sell over Western Europe primarily. I would definitely run with no doubt to Texas Patty,
Mm.
German porn star based in
Yeah.
LA,
Yeah.
between California
Yeah.
and Europe.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, for me, she is one of uh, she's an iconic influencer because
Yeah.
she gathers
Her and Patrick,
everything.
her husband, are outstanding. Yeah.
They are really professional. So that's of course
Yeah.
the main thing you want to find about an influencer, because you don't want to give money or sponsor anything with somebody that is not stable.
Hmm.
Someone that is not fair or transparent, etc. And she has these qualities about being organized, about her business, etc. She is an established
Hmm.
brand, and she totally fits in these. So when you have your elements of marketing, when you know who you want to reach, she just fit in because she has this double
Yeah.
culture between the US and Western Europe, and she's an established brand. She's very sensual. She's very beautiful. Her
Yep.
production is sustainable. So it's all about making a match between the offer and the demand. Same if you are like a sex toy, a fetish
Hmm.
sex toy, kind of hardcore, a fuck machine. We had this client that they had this machine that where you can fuck yourself, and
I've always wanted to
definitely,
do that.
yeah. Well, I think it's mainly for vaginal and anal sex, so I don't know about your private life.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I mean, you should try it.
No,
So,
I don't. No, I don't think so. You go ahead. Thanks.
so typically, I would run to someone with a big audience in fetish, someone very empowered, someone very vocal about
Hmm.
enjoying this. So a porn star would be the best. For fetish, I like to. I know that there is a big market and different segments, but I like to test first with the gay market because
Mm.
uh, historically speaking, higher power of acquisition plus behavioral tendency of testing more products, a little bit less afraid of new stuff. So yeah, I would run to Dominic Pacifico, gay porn star and
Hmm.
director based in LA, in Vegas,
Yeah.
because he has a lot of productions about that. He has his OnlyFans, his productions. So it's all about analyzing your market, what you want to do with your product, who you want to reach, and see who has the tools to do that. And for this, you can check the person on social media, because
Sure.
it's public. They are showing everything they're doing, so you can see if this person has a Pornhub channel, if this person has, who the followers are, because you can click on followers and you can see if they are only, people that are not relevant for your
Hmm.
business. Well, then
Hmm.
it's not a good influencer.
Right. Right. How, when you just mentioned followers and it brought about a question, that seems to be so important to some people, and they actually go out and buy followers. Do you think that's a good idea?
It's a terrible idea. It's
Hmm.
for me, so many reasons. The first reason is that it hurts your business. For example, my Instagram account, I have a large amount of followers, more than
Of
I
course you
should,
do.
because no. That's no, but see, that's why it's very interesting, because I am absolutely not that interesting. I have
Oh,
like
please.
10K followers or something. I am not entertaining these people, and we can tell by the likes. So sometimes I just want to tell them, please unfollow me, because for the algorithm, it's a bad thing for
Really?
each platform
How
when they
so?
analyze
How
the
so?
because if the platform sees that you have so many people that are following you, but not a lot of people that are liking you, it means that what you're producing, what you're posting, is not interesting.
Hmm.
Just like in my case, because I am personal friend of some influential people in our industry, and
Right.
beautiful porn stars and creative people, their
Mhm.
fans, when they're posting in their stuff and tagging me, or in the stories, or when we are traveling or having private moment in our private lives, people are just thinking that they will get more information about these people by following me, but at the same
By
time, they're not
following
interested
you,
in the
sure.
content.
Yeah.
So the discrepancy between the followers and the likes is bad, because the algorithm is just saying that, okay, this person might have been interesting at some point, but now what she's doing, it's not interesting. So
Hmm.
buying fake followers is not helping you. Plus, it completely messed up your stats, because you don't know at
Hmm.
the end who is really here on your account for you. If you're
Yeah.
reaching new amount, if you don't know who is real and not.
Yeah.
And also, it's clearly a vanity issue. It's something that
Hmm.
requires therapy for sure. You can, because this is business, and your company, if you're selling, I always take this example of this bakery in my neighborhood. If we are 200,000 people in my neighborhood, why would they want 1 million followers? Because people are
Hmm.
not coming from another city or another country just to buy bread.
Yeah.
So people need to calm down, and it's normal if somebody like a Kardashian, they have a lot of amount of followers, because their visibility is way higher. Now,
Yeah.
if you are a very niche product, if you are, let's say, I don't know, a fetish that is very a small community. Let's say foot fetish. It's not even a small community. It's one of the biggest fetish. If you're a
Hmm.
foot fetish, well, you only talk to a certain amount of people, a
Sure.
certain percentage of the people that have this fetish. So you cannot expect to get 100% of the main sex activity followers. You will only have
Sure.
the people with this fetish, interested in this fetish. So the numbers, people need to put away their vanity and their pathological need to be liked, to really face the reality and the numbers, to review it. You know,
Yeah.
if you have a
Yeah.
thousand followers, oh my God, that's a lot of people. Can you imagine 1,000 followers? It's already a lot.
Yeah.
You-
But by
I
the way,
mean,
that
that's
bakery, how by the way, at that bakery, how good's the bread?
really good. Too expensive, but it's
Well,
good.
then maybe I'll follow them.
I'll give you the account. They make me a discount if I do their marketing. No, yeah, it's
Oh,
but see, it's really impressive, because people
yeah.
has lost they have lost track of this all. It's common
Yeah.
sense. It's obvious, but they get their ambition and their need to be liked and loved,
Sure.
uh, getting ahead. It's a real problem we see with social media, that it came to our life, and it developed this anxiety and this need for people to be liked and received. But it's
Sure.
totally explained. I mean, my specialty is neuromarketing, and when you receive a like, for example, your brain is receiving a happiness hormone that
Yeah.
is triggering your brain, and it lasts 16 minutes in average, and it's the
Hmm.
same area of your brain that is activated, just like when you eat chocolate or when you have sex. So
Oh.
when you stop receiving like, you have a drop of hormones, so it makes you feel a bit bad, that it stopped. It's
Hmm.
it's a craving that you want more and more. So
Sure.
it's human. It's just that people need to educate themselves about it.
Yeah. So now there are many choices these days for social media management, obviously. Talk a little
Mhm.
bit about what Seven Veils offers clients in the adult space and why someone should choose you over other companies and consultants.
When a company or an individual is looking for help and assistance on social media, of course, they need to check exactly what their needs are. We have many people that are reaching out because they want public relations, and
Hmm.
we don't do public relations. We can advise
Sure.
and help with some tips, but it's
Right.
not the activity that we want to focus on because we really want to
Hmm.
dedicate ourselves to social media. So
Hmm.
first of all, make sure that your needs are only about social media. Of course, you can find some companies that are offering a little bit of everything,
Sure.
but in this case, they won't dedicate the same amount of hours and human resources to that. Seven Veils is only focusing on social media. So even if we have a part of consultants and consultancy, it's all oriented to strategies that are using the tools provided by social media platforms. So that's the first step to understand what your business is in need for. What
Hmm.
do you have? If you have the material and the content necessary to perform on social media, what we focus on is really white hat. So we do everything organic. We don't do any kind of cloaking or any techniques like
Hmm.
that. So it's interesting if you want to explore that, for example, to check with another company.
Hmm.
And for us, it's really about customer service through DMs, branding and social values, sharing the post, and the traffic generation, but again, organic. So it's all about the clicks, the links in the bios, the SEO, etc. So that's
Okay.
what we do. And but the strength, in my opinion, of Seven Veils is that we are a whole team. So we all have different skills and specialties that we can,
Sure.
put together and to take the best aspects of it. The fact that you have sex educators, marketers, psychologists, sex workers, it's a lot of and business people. It's a good mix, in my opinion, to give your brand a full identity on social media.
That's awesome. So it's been over a year since we spoke. What's new over there?
Over where
Seven Veils.
Oh, well, things are, somehow the same because we're the
Okay.
business, our business didn't change that much. What changed, it's the context, as I was saying, more
Hmm.
tools. So we always try to figure out what is the best way to deliver the message and to make this kind
Right.
of packaging about how to deliver your message to your audience. So it's more
Hmm.
about adapting, but the core business is still the same because when Lauren started the business, she had a good vision of it because she knew that social media would really take more importance, and it did. It grew. So we still work the same. We organic way,
Hmm.
engagement, posting, analyzing,
Hmm.
reporting, how it's about entertaining, educating, and exciting your audience to make that. So it's really interesting. The days are
Hmm.
really short.
So you used to be at every single show I can think of. Now, with the last couple of years, shows being canceled during the pandemic, you've been home in Brazil. How has your life changed during this time?
It was hard. The pandemic uh, affected us all in different ways, business wise and at a personal level too.
Hmm.
Um, so it was a little bit of a hard time. It's just like if you're running and all of a sudden you have to stop, you need to figure out, okay, to calm the body and stuff. So it's a whole situation. It's a tragedy, of course, this pandemic. So many
Oh,
deaths.
yes.
It's awful. On
Sure.
on on a side note, what it me to do is that at a personal level, it was more about self care. Stupid things, details like going to the dentist. Something that every time that I was going to the dentist with the shows, it was more an emergency thing. Like, oh, okay, I'm going to start doing this, but I need to travel somewhere. So
Hmm.
it was always in a rush. Now you can take time to take care of yourself. Your growth, your personal development, medical, everything. You have more time at home. So
Yeah.
I could finally unbox. It's weird and funny, but in March 2 years ago, I was opening boxes that I had from Asia that I was keeping from 2 years that I didn't have open. And I was like, oh yeah, this book I didn't read it yet.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
weird.
Well, you live in a really cool place, as do I. You're in Copacabana Beach, for God's sakes. I mean, it must be pretty cool to be there and to be able to do a lot of the nice things you can do there.
Yes, sometimes, well, when you're used to it, you don't measure your how lucky you are. But of course, when I talk to
Sure.
other friends that are living in different part, each city, each place has a great thing. Like when I hear
Hmm.
people from Western Europe, they're like, "Oh my God, you live in a safe place, and people are more
Hmm.
respectful," and
Yeah.
that should be interesting. But everything is not that I think that I live in a better place. It's just that it's a better fit for me, for my personal taste.
Sure.
So sometimes you're very into it and you're not seeing how lucky you are. But when I talk to my friends living in different countries, I think that of course for me walking on the beach every morning and doing exercise uh, there,
Hmm.
it's of
Yep.
course it makes it
Like
a little
me.
bit
Yeah.
sweet. But
Yeah.
now on the contrary is during the pandemic it's cool that we can still enjoy such a beautiful landscape, etc. But on the other side, for example, the government didn't make a good job at the
Yeah.
containment or information.
Right.
We are one of the worst, uh, or I want, I was about to say organized, but it's not organized at all. And the good
Exactly.
thing is that the population is aware of that. But otherwise, yeah, we live in a beautiful place, but the current government is a big issue.
Yep. We got rid of our Trump. You didn't. So, last question. How much are you looking forward to getting back to the shows this year and seeing people?
I really wanted to say that the virtual shows were working, but but the
Yeah.
reality is we need to get back in as soon as it's safe enough in presential shows. And
Yeah.
I was wrong. I thought that we could do everything virtual, but it's clearly the facts are here. The situation is that you can keep in touch with people online, but a
Sure.
human real contact is very interesting and very important for
Hmm.
business. And on the personal side, well, I miss my friends a lot, just like everyone else, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm very eager, and I think the next show should be Vegas in January 2022 for
Yeah.
Internext.
Yes.
So I am very
Yes,
excited.
as we record this in November, at the end of November. Yes.
So yeah,
You did it again, Alex. It's okay.
it's all this Back to the Future thing. No, but
Always Back to the Future. Well, I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And
me too,
I
really.
miss the hugs. I miss the hugs.
I
I
don't miss
miss,
the hugs. On that, I'm with Stuart. Don't hug me.
well,
But I do miss.
I'm going to give you a hug. God damn it.
Is that a threat? But I do miss the talk and even the small
Yeah.
talks in the elevator. Something that
Yeah.
can it's
Yeah.
very stimulating for creativity and
Yep.
for friendship. I like that.
It's our family. It's our
It
family.
is. It is.
It definitely is. Well, Alex, I'd like to thank you for being back again today on
Thank
Adult
you.
Site
Thank you
Broker
very much.
Talk. Thank you. And I know we'll get a chance to do it again soon.
Thanks a lot, Bruce.
My broker tip today is part 4 of how to buy a website. Last week we discussed making an offer and deciding the best price for the site you're buying. Once you've made your offer, the work begins. If you're working with a broker, like say, Adult Site Broker, we handle the negotiation for you. Let's say the seller doesn't accept your offer. They may make a counteroffer. If you decide that you're willing to pay more, you can either accept their counteroffer or counter back to them. A good rule of thumb is to always leave room to negotiate. So don't make an offer that's the absolute most you're willing to pay. If you do that, then you have nowhere to go if the owner counters your offer. Once the owner and you have come to a deal, then it's time to do some due diligence beyond what it is you've already done. During the initial process of looking at the site, you should have asked some questions, like in the case of a pay site, how many joins and rebuilds there are per day, and any other pertinent questions. During due diligence, you need to make sure everything is where you need it to be technically to integrate it with what you're already doing. You may even get your developer involved if you're not tech savvy. You and or your developer should ask those pertinent questions. Once those are answered to your satisfaction, you should either have the seller or yourself draw up a sales agreement. I always tell my clients to do the agreement. Why? Because that way you can dictate the terms. So whether you're the buyer or the seller, you can make the rules. But just be ready to have the seller's attorney change some of those rules. Nothing is final until everything is signed off on. Another thing we do for our clients is a letter of intent prior to the sales agreement being done. This gives your attorney a roadmap for the agreement. The letter of intent, and more so the agreement, will have all of the terms involved, including who pays for everything. Who pays for escrow, for instance? This can be paid by the seller or the buyer or split between both parties. We'll talk about this subject more next week. And next week we'll be speaking with Norman Jean of Junk Productions. And that's it for this week's Adult Site Broker Talk. I'd once again like to thank my guest, Alex Leconte. Talk to you again next week on Adult Site Broker Talk. I'm Bruce Friedman.